Hey everyone, hey Wellness Crew, and welcome to today's reading of Gate 14 of Human Design and Gene Key 14 of the Gene Keys. Gate 14, Power Skills. I Ching, Possession, and Great Nature. Astrology, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Biology, Ovaries, and Testes. Gate 14 is a purely generated gate. Here we have the energy for working to make money. But it's not only working for money. It can be responding to opportunities to generate resources. This is the energy for power skills, important social connections, and all of the things we think of when we think of wealth. There can be a certain amount of luck associated with this gate. When people with this energy respond, the response is about creating wealth in some way. Being born with this energy can be like having a natural inheritance. Hi, Caitlin. How are you, sweetheart? And because making money can sometimes be so easy, for people with this gate, they often don't care about the physical trappings of wealth. This energy flows into a desire to make a contribution to humanity. I'm so glad to hear that, honey. People with gate 14. Hi, Emery. How are you, sweetheart? People with gate 14 understand that nothing gets done on the planet without finances. But it's not personal finance, like we see in the ego circuit. This is merely about working for the right thing, to give it energy, to ultimately be expressed. All right, let's move on to the 14th gene key, radiating prosperity. Siddhi, Bounteousness. I'm so glad to hear that, Emery. That's awesome. I love when people are doing good. That makes me so happy. Gift, Competence. Shadow, Compromise. Programming partner, 8th gene key. And if you want to know more about the 8th gene key, I do have a live stream about it. Just go back a few live streams and you'll be able to learn all about it. Codon ring, the Ring of Fire, 1 and 14. I'm doing good, Caitlin. Thank you so much for asking. You're so sweet. I'm doing great. Thank you. Physiology, small intestine. Amino acid, lysine. The 14th shadow, compromise. The leaking wagon. In the Chinese I Ching, the word for the 14th hexagram, thank you so much, is usually translated by the phrase possession in great measure, and it is traditionally symbolized by a large wagon laden down with goods. I hope you do too, Caitlin. I really appreciate you watching. You are so sweet, and I'm sure you are so beautiful inside just as you are on the outside. It is a symbol of wealth, health, and prosperity, which are all themes linked to good fortune as well as hard work. The 14th gene key and its shadow really concern the way in which humans work. It concerns the actual choice of work you do, the people you work with, and above all, the way you work. Every human being has a built-in genetic need to work. Interestingly, the very word work has become associated in the English language with the concept of effort, which shows just how deeply the collective shadow of the 14th gene key has descended into our lives. Work can actually mean many different things. It all depends upon your attitude towards life. Oh, thank you so much, Caitlin. I really appreciate that. You know, a lot of people find the gene keys and human design to be very woo-woo. I find it to be incredibly resourceful for personal development. Hey, Arash, thank you so much for asking. So when I was 19, that was when and I'm 36 now, that's when I first got certified in yoga. Later in life, in my 20s, I was certified as a personal trainer and a CrossFit coach, a nutritional coach, but I've let my certifications lapse, so I can't really do classes in real life just because I don't have my liability insurance. So I just stick to doing videos online. And I really like that I'm able to provide a free service to people that aren't able to afford training with me. I am a wellness coach currently, though, and I do provide sessions for that. And I can definitely talk about doing and creating programs. I just can't perform the programs. And I do this all remotely. The 14th gene key and its shadow really concern the way in which humans work. Thank you so much, Caitlin. I really appreciate that. I really want to have my channel grow with more women. And that's why I love to talk about, all things wellness. Cult of wellness is not intended to actually be a cult. It's just a joke. It's a pun on words. It's just all about being well in all the ways that you possibly can, but also maintaining that wildness that we all have. So, understanding that perfection is definitely not the goal. It's always about progress. If you want to be better, you can. If you're happy with yourself just as you are, that's incredible too. I would never push someone having to do growth mentality or someone having to have this mindset of, oh, I have to be better, because that again is just going along with that perfectionism that often derails us and that is totally unnecessary for us. Thank you so much. It's just facts, right? It's just how it is. And again, like I said, I just want to be able to also encourage women. That's why I do a lot of my motivational videos. And I like to come up with a lot of ideas. Like most recently, I did a video for ideas for 30-day challenges. And it's just to kind of shake up your routine, to kind of challenge yourself to do something a little bit out of the norm, not something to aim for perfection, but just something to aim for progress, to make changes, because change is such a big aspect of life. It's always happening. It's not something that we can control. And the main thing, as always, is always to just try to understand we can only control ourselves. We can only control the things that are within our locus of control. We can't control other people. And that's the biggest thing to remember. We can only control ourselves. The 14th gene key and its shadow really concern the way in which humans work. It concerns the actual choice of work you do, the people you work with, and above all, the way you work. Every human being has a built-in genetic need to work. Interestingly, the very word work has become associated in the English language with the concept of effort, which shows just how deeply the collective shadow of this 14th gene key has descended into our lives. Work can actually mean many different things. It all depends upon your attitude toward life. And again, this is a big component, our attitude toward life. How are we approaching life? So I'm reading from Richard Redd's The Gene Keys. And what the Gene Keys are is an offshoot of human design. Human design is a little bit of a mix of some religious texts like the I Ching, Kabbalah. It's also a mix of astrology. You can go to ahumandesign.com to get your body graph profile. All you need to do is put in your birthday, your name, your birth time, and the city where you were born. And same thing for if you go to thegenekeys.com, you can get your hologenetic profile. I did a short earlier that was saying that I'm all about stuff that's kind of woo-woo, and this is definitely a little bit in the woo-woo aspect, right? This is a little bit in the astrology turf, but it's really interesting to me, and it's great about personal development. It's great about being able to be more insightful about where you're going on your path. With human design, I got my body graph chart read on ahumandesign.com, and it was really helpful in me understanding why I am the way I am. I believe that we become the most fully authentic people when we're really able to do inner work and really able to learn from different things. And for me personally, the Gene Keys in human design have been so helpful in my personal growth journey and have really allowed me to see the path that I need to be on, or not so much the one that I need to be on, but the one that I'm naturally on. And it helps me to understand not only where I'm going, but how I'm going to get there. The 14th shadow is paired with the 8th shadow of mediocrity. And thus we humans live sandwiched between these two low-frequency victim states, unable to envision a way out of our uninspiring life situations. Even those of us who can see a way out of our dissatisfaction rarely have the courage to actually follow through with our dreams because of a deep-seated fear that we lack the power and capacity. Hi, Campbell! I love doing shout outs. So, hey, Campbell, hope you're doing great. Even those of us who can see a way out of our dissatisfaction rarely have the courage to actually follow through with our dreams because of a deep seated fear that we lack the power and capacity to complete the long journey towards those dreams. You're so welcome. Absolutely. Compromise begins deep inside us. It begins when we are very young, as we inherit the world shadows from our parents and our schooling. Many people dream and aspire to greatness when they are young, but most have given up on their dreams by the time they reach their 40s. And let me just say, I don't agree with Richard Rudd on this particular thing. I think that oftentimes people will give up on their dreams younger than their 40s. And a lot of the reason is because we tend to compare ourselves to others all the time, especially with the advent of social media, with the advent of things that are having us strive towards this idea of perfection rather than the idea of just making progress, of just being our authentic selves. So I wouldn't say people start to give up on their dreams in their 40s. They start to probably give up on their dreams a little bit earlier. And I don't believe you have to give up on your dreams. But I also don't believe that you have to have these super huge goals that you have to attain. You can start small. Some people, they can start big. Everyone's different. Everyone truly is an individual. That is 100%. We all have stuff in common for sure, but we are all individuals. Not everything is going to work for everyone. Things are going to be different for everyone. Everyone isn't exactly. Everyone is an individualized situation, which is why I love being a wellness coach. I get to work with so many different types of people. And it's so easy to give up. It is so easy to give up on things. It's so easy to give up, not even so much on dreams, but on ourselves, on our potential. And sometimes I hate to really use that word potential because it really makes us feel as though, oh, or makes us think we're not living up to our potential. That's not at all what I mean. I just mean we all have the potential not only to be better, but we also have the potential to be worse. So why aren't we celebrating the way that we are in this moment? Because right now, we're definitely better than we could be. We have so many things to be grateful for, and we constantly forget to be grateful for them. Wherever you're living, whatever situation you're in, someone else has it worse off. That's just a fact. So just be grateful that you're in the situation that you're in. Even if you're unhappy with it, you can still learn to be grateful for the situation that you're in. And you can still, yeah, you can make them bigger and not smaller for sure. It all depends on keeping, because thank you so much, Caitlin. I'm grateful for you too. The biggest thing, honestly, is tailoring it to you. Oh my gosh, I haven't actually. Mainly that's because I feel like I don't have like the best skincare routine or makeup routine. But I could definitely try to incorporate that into my channel. That's such a great idea. Thank you so much for that idea. I'll definitely have to try that. Thank you. Okay, let me get back to this real quick. I'll definitely answer any and all questions for sure. I'm totally here for that. All right, compromise begins deep inside us. It begins when we are very young, as we inherit the world's shadows from our parents and our schooling. Many people dream and aspire to greatness when they are young. Oh, yeah, this is exactly what I already said. But most have given up on their dreams by the time they reach, I'm going to say, even sometimes their 20s. Sometimes even younger. It just depends on what you're being told, the messages that you're receiving, not only from outside sources like or external sources like social media. You have to also understand that external sources are also the people that you surround yourself with. And you do have the majority of the time a choice in that. You have a choice in who you're surrounding yourself with, in the situations that you're putting yourself in. The younger you are, the more difficult it is to control those situations, but you still do have a say. You can definitely step away from toxic situations as much as possible. Again, sometimes you don't always have 100% control, but you do always have control of yourself and the way that you choose to respond rather than react. Many give up much earlier, and some of us never even get off the ground. Yeah, exactly. It's responding, not being reactive. When we're coming from a reactive place, that means that we're coming from a place of allowing somebody else, because again, we can control the way that we respond. When we feel, and I hate this word, but when we feel triggered, I'm 36. um, when we're feeling triggered, right? That's something that we're allowing to happen to us. And that's oftentimes a really tough pill to swallow. We don't want to have to take accountability for that. We want to blame somebody else for that. We want to say, oh, it's that person that's triggering us. But really, it's us allowing somebody else to trigger us. And when we take accountability for that, when we realize that, then we can really be able to understand that we can take away that reactivity and we can learn simply to be responsive, which makes the entire situation so much more easier to deal with and so much more easier for not only ourselves, but for the people around us. While we may be unable to change the people around us, when people start to see us being responsive rather than reactive, oftentimes it encourages them to want to also be that way as well, because then they're almost inspired by the way that you're choosing to respond rather than react. Most young children growing up in today's world dream of being, got to turn the page here. It's a little bit windy, as you can see by my backdrop. I'm here in Texas, in Central Texas. Stars or footballers or famous singers. And most adults see these dreams as passing phases in a young person's life. However, these young people are unconsciously projecting their own inherent urge to excel in an area of life. This kind of early dreamy aspiration actually burns at a very high frequency, and if it can be maintained, harnessed, and given direction, it will eventually lead these children in the direction of their excellence. And I love the word excellence because, again, that's not about perfection. It's about excellence. It's about doing great in whatever field, in whatever type of thing that you just are naturally great in, and something that comes authentically to you. Not so much striving for excellence, but just aiming for whatever naturally comes, not easily, but whatever naturally comes to you. Something that you're interested in, that you also happen to be good in, or something that even if it takes some time to learn or takes extra time. Hi, Kim. Hope you're having a great day, sweetheart. How old are you, Caitlin? Okay, I'm sure I'll see the response in a second. The sad truth is that the dreams of most children are stamped out by their schools in the endless monotony of the set educational curricula. It is in school that most children learn to associate work with boredom, effort, and drudgery. The problem with such modern school systems is that you're 10? Oh my goodness. I don't think I've had young kids watch my videos before. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh. Treating them as one collective body that needs to be educated instead of treating every individual differently. Many children simply do not suit schools at all. Added to this, if one's parents do not believe in themselves, then it will be very difficult for them to creatively inspire their children. It is small wonder then that we humans cannot sustain the enthusiasm of our dreams long into our adulthood, ironically at a time when we need that enthusiasm the most. Compromise is bred into us through society's systems. Whenever you compromise, you are settling for second best, and you can never fully enjoy what you do in life. If you do not enjoy it, you can never excel in it. Enjoyment and enthusiasm are the fuel in the turbine that drives you to excel. All children are born with a certain genius, and if allowed to develop in the right direction, that genius will inevitably emerge, and the work that they do will inspire others to achieve the same high standards. Genius itself is highly contagious, just as compromise is. Because genius is so contagious and empowering, individuals can truly change the collective frequency of the whole of humanity. Compromise is often a subtle thing at the beginning. It is not really about your action, but about your spirit. If you do something that you don't really like, but it is a stepping stone towards your dreams, then that will transform the way in which you do it. If, however, you do something that you don't like because society has in some way pressured you to do it, then you are on a slippery slope. That kind of compromise can easily become a habit. And in the end, it will sap your spirit and draw you further away from your true potential. You need to keep your enthusiasm alive by seeing that you do as a part of your overall direction in life. Aw, thank you so much, Caitlin. That is so sweet. I honestly have never had such a young person in one of my live streams. Oh, there's some other people watching. But that's really sweet. It's kind of sometimes is slow for other people, and it won't always show the accurate count. But that's really sweet of you. I appreciate it, sweetheart. This is how you can bring meaning into even the dullest of jobs. The 64 gene keys contain the genetic codes for all possible types of genius. This is what the 64 gifts are. They form the collective matrix for true human genius. It is of note that the two words, genus and genius, are so closely related to each other, since genius encapsulates the entire human species, and genius likewise is a hereditary trait that appears across all gene pools. However, contrary to widespread belief, genius is neither special nor rare. It is present as a seed in every single human being, just by dint of being born. The misunderstanding about genius concerns its definition. which has been narrowed down by mainstream use to refer mostly to the faculty of intellect. However, the etymology of the word genius points towards a far more mysterious faculty, a kind of guiding spirit or domain within your life. Such a spirit might be seen to be your higher self, your hologenetic profile, which I said you can get at thegenekeys.com, operating through you at a much higher frequency. Genius denotes great creativity, originality, and enthusiasm, but it is in no way limited to people of high intellectual capacity. This 14th gene key forms a genetic codon group called the Ring of Fire, which suggests that genius is a spark that needs to be fanned into action. The other chemical component of the Ring of Fire is the first gene key with its gift of freshness. Genius is therefore intimately connected to this idea of freshness and newness. And honestly, I really wish that when I was younger, that I would have gotten into the gene keys, that somebody would have given me the idea to really look into this. Because learning more about this, I started my journey with the gene keys in human design at about 34 or 35 years old, so like a year and a half ago. Hi, Rob. How are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful day. So, I really wish that when I was younger, I had been presented with this information because I just feel as though I got lipstick on my teeth. Oh my goodness. See, things happen all the time on live streams. Nothing is perfect. Never aim for perfection. It is so boring. Just be yourself and be real. And if you're doing a live stream, aw, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Rob. We're in the woo-woo thing right now. I'm reading from the Gene Keys, which is an offshoot of human design, which is a mix of, to name a few, the I Ching, a little bit of astrology, and some Kabbalah. Some Christianity too. It's a whole mix of stuff. It's really interesting. If it's something that I use for personal development. Aw, you too. Bye, Kaylin. Have a wonderful day, sweetie. Thank you for watching. Okay, so back to the reading. But I'll definitely engage with anybody that is participating in the live chat. Don't get me wrong. The greatest damage done to individuals in our world is the continual programming by the low frequency collective consciousness that forces people to compromise and give up on their dreams. The spark of genius is there at birth, and if recognized at an early age, the child can lead a childhood individually tailored to fan the flames of that particular genius. Finally, compromise cannot bring you prosperity because it makes you a follower rather than a creator. True prosperity emerges from doing what we are here to do, rather than being simply another cog in a collective machine. Prosperity is the byproduct of individual creative endeavor and requires a sustained sense of empowered direction. The moment you make a compromise, your wagon begins to leak energy. And what I always say is the three resources that we have, the three things that we have to make investments with are our time, our energy, and our money. So always understand that those three things are the resources that we have to invest into ourselves and into others. So always understand they are so important to life. Time, energy, and money. The riches that you were born with begin to decay. The very frequency of compromise negates the possibility of good fortune and synchronicity. It is a no man's land where nothing of beauty can ever occur, and no trace of inherent genius and purpose can be realized. Repressive nature, impotent. For those who are unconsciously dominated by fear, The 14th shadow represents an almost inescapable dilemma. Yay! That's awesome, sweetheart. I'm so glad that you're here. I have a brother too, and sometimes when I was younger, he would definitely like interrupt things for me, or it just would feel like he would. But it's always awesome to have siblings. They are such a wonderful addition to our lives. The more one compromises in life, the more powerless one feels to escape. A great deal of our actual vital life energy is held within the 14th gene key, and when we do not release this energy through work that we find fulfilling, our power becomes choked up inside us. The word impotent has the double connotation of applying to our duality, which is also deeply connected to this 14th gene key. Vibrancy in part rises and falls upon how much fulfillment we get out of our lives. Making compromises out of fear will actually deplete our does not necessarily mean that one appears weak. Repressed natures often do a good job of hiding their weakness by going along with whatever happens. So again, talking about being a follower rather than being a leader. True impotence in this respect is about not having the courage to stand alone and pursue one's unique path. Reactive nature, enslaved. The reactive nature of this shadow is also based upon basic insecurity. But instead of collapsing into impotence, these people react by trying to prove themselves. So if you've ever wanted to be liked or had that feeling of wanting to people please, right? And wanting everyone always to like you, everyone always to, you know, feel, or if you have always felt like people need to like you, this is kind of what it's talking about. When you have that feeling, when you have that need, that's when you're kind of in this zone. And you can definitely get out of this zone by learning how to not be a people pleaser, by learning to understand that the most important thing is that you like and love yourself. That's what's most important. It's not about other people liking you, especially really at any age, to be honest with you. But I know that the younger you are, the more important all of that stuff feels. And part of that is just because the brain develops more fully at 25. So it's hard for us to be able to understand. And honestly, it's been who, sweetheart? Oh, my brother. I'm actually older, but only by 19 months. So I'm 36. He'll be turning 35 this year. Ironically, even if they receive recognition, it doesn't fulfill them because they have never unleashed their true potential in life. Such people are merely pretending to be powerful in life. If you provoke them, they will soon show their insecurity through their rage. True power never needs to prove itself to others or the world. True power is only concerned with the job at hand, which is something that is really, really important to understand if you can. The 14th gift, competence, the fire in the belly. As we have seen, within every human being lies a latent genius, and this genius emerges when you stop making compromises in life. Competence is the quality that accompanies a person who loves what they are doing. It is one of those gifts that cannot be taught because true competence hints at much more than simply doing things well. Competence carries within it efficiency, enthusiasm, flair, and flexibility, the four keys to material success. It is efficient because it finds the quickest and simplest solutions to any obstacles along its path. It is enthusiastic because it is deeply fulfilled by what it does. It has flair because it is doing something in a manner that no one else can. And it is flexible because it can be applied to any sphere of human enterprise imaginable. To be competent means to be able to think both logically and laterally whenever needed. The key to efficiency is the ability to switch spontaneously between creativity and receptivity, which means that it is self-adjusting. At the same time as acting, this gift is simultaneously listening and responding to its environment. Inside your body, this awareness corresponds to the solar plexus area. Thank you so much, Caitlin. I really appreciate that. You know what's so funny is that when I was growing up, I was always being told that, right? And it would always make me feel so uncomfortable because when I was growing up, I was always one of the most insecure people in the room. I was always insecure. I always felt so uncomfortable. I never really felt good in my skin. And it took a lot of time for me to be able to have someone give me a compliment and for me to be able to fully accept it. I just didn't naturally have that self-confidence. It was something that really took a long time for me to work on. And when you can work on it in your youth, when that's something that you can develop and not really have to worry about developing later in life, you're going to be set up so much better for everything. You really are. It really caused me a lot of pain to not be able to be more confident and to have a lot of self-esteem issues. And it caused a lot of problems for me, and not only for me, but in a lot of my relationships. So developing that self-confidence, deciding to work on yourself, participating in things. One big thing I'll say that I love for girls to do and women to do is to have a journal, right? And not like you have to have a journal and keep track of every single day, but having a journal of affirmations. And you can go onto Pinterest. That's actually a great place to go. You can go to Pinterest, search for affirmations, and then just keep a little journal. You can write 2 to 3 affirmations down a day. And then over the course of time, you'll have a full, like a whole bunch of pages of affirmations that you can always go back to and read. And they're super uplifting. They're really helpful with confidence. And they're really helpful with boosting self-esteem and boosting self-love. So that's a huge tip that I would give to any woman, any girl, and I highly suggest it because it was so helpful on my journey of doing inner work. Okay, so what I wanted to say too is the solar plexus is this area. Affirmations. So affirmations is spelled AFFIRMATIONS. Affirmations are things that are affirming to you. So it's things like, for example, I love myself, or today is a beautiful day, or today is going to be a successful day, or I love my life, or I create beauty, things like that. There's a whole bunch of different types of affirmations. Keeping a journal of them is great, but another thing you can always do is take an affirmation, get in front of a mirror, and just say that affirmation to yourself while you're smiling. Again, it's just a great little tip for inner work. It's a great way to kind of grow and to get used to really improving your body language. Yeah, they're really helpful. A good analogy of this can be found in the differing techniques used in carpentry around the world. In the Orient, the saw is pulled towards the belly rather than being forced away, as is the Western style. The resulting cut is finer than one made through pushing. And you know what? Let's just chat. I'm going to go ahead and stop this reading. Let's just have a chat. That's totally okay because sometimes, I feel like my higher power or the Lord, right, is sometimes calling me to do other things. So even if my live stream is supposed to be about one thing, it's okay for it to be about something else. That's what I'm here for. When I was talking about the 3 things that we can invest, which is our time, our energy, and our money, I like to invest in people that are also investing their time wisely, right? So we can just chat about things if that's what you want to do. I have no problem doing that. It's totally okay to be off topic. It's totally okay to ask questions. That's such an important component of being a creative person. And that just shows that you are wanting and willing to learn and wanting and willing to grow and just naturally have a curious mind. And that's a wonderful thing to have as a person. So my name is Jenna. I'm a wellness coach. Formerly, I was in physical training, things like that. I am a mother of 2 children. I have a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I've been through a lot of different life experiences, but I have so much fun when I'm with my kids. I have so much fun when I'm engaging with them and learning with them. And I will definitely say that my children and children in general teach me so much. I've really had to learn a lot of patience. I think for a really long time, I spent a lot of time when I was younger kind of being self-centered, right? Not really. He's going to be 35 this year, so in a few months. I don't like to give too many details about my family members on live streams, just because, especially when they're public, because anybody can watch them, and I don't like to give out too much information. Safety first, as always, online. That's for anybody, right? Never give out more information than you absolutely have to. You always want to practice online safety in all aspects at all times, whenever you can. But yeah, and that's my only sibling. I only have one. Um, I love what I do. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy. No. It's fine. I just don't like. That's why I don't give out the month. Is what I mean. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm not saying, oh, his birthday's in. I'm just gonna make up a month in December or whatever. So I have no problem talking about my family. I just don't say their actual like birthdays and things like that. So no, you're totally fine to ask. Um, but yeah, I think it's really important to try to, because this is where you're learning, right? You're learning about your relationships, especially when you're younger, from your family. And, sometimes siblings can be annoying. I'm not a teacher, but I'm a wellness coach. So, what that entails is being a coach for people wanting to change things in their lives. I work with a lot of people who have experienced trauma, specifically in relationships. But I help people with a lot of different problems that they have. So it's kind of similar to being a life coach, but when you're a wellness coach, it's a lot more broad and a lot more opened up to things. And while it can be goal oriented, for some people, it's just wanting to have someone that can encourage them, someone to talk to, someone that can help them on their path or help them find their path. And sometimes, again, it's just talking. It's just, they want someone that's going to kind of have something that's purposeful, that's programmed to them, that's tailored to them. Not everybody gets that opportunity. And why I say it's so important to understand that your time is very precious and the way that you spend it is very precious. When I do, videos and live streams, all of that stuff takes up time. And my time is very valuable. And I want you to definitely see that your time is very valuable. The content that you're choosing to ingest is always going into your brain, is always going into your subconscious. And your subconscious is the thoughts and everything that's occurring in the back of your head, right? You'll see your subconscious come up a lot in your dreams. And maybe you don't always understand your dreams, or you're like, oh, my dreams are meaningless. Not necessarily. It's stuff that's coming up for you. Or sometimes you'll have these feelings and you're like, I have no idea where this feeling is coming from. Well, maybe you subconsciously have had some type of reaction to something that's occurring. And so now you're having just, some form of a reaction, and that's why maybe you feel uncomfortable all of a sudden, or maybe you're having a mood change all of a sudden, or maybe you're having an energy change all of a sudden. So that's what I help people with. I help people understand their patterns. I help them change their patterns. I help them become more well-rounded individuals, happier individuals. I always encourage laughter. I always say humor is a very big component of the medicine that we all need to take, right? It's about understanding that there's a whole bunch of different things that can really help us to be happier people. Um, I I do live streams. Let's see. I probably do them like usually multiple times a week, but if I have a full week of coaching, then I won't do them every week and I won't do videos every week. But typically I am doing live streams and videos throughout the week. I don't schedule them out because my clients and all of that stuff comes first. But the live streams are mainly the readings. When I have done AMAs or when I've done live streams like streams of consciousness and things like that, they just haven't been very popular. I'm so sorry that happens. So when people are bullying you, what I want you to try to understand is you cannot control what those people are saying or calling you or whatever. And that is so difficult to comprehend and difficult to understand. But what you can definitely control is how you decide to take that in, to choose to not absorb that into yourself, to decide, okay, these people are saying something that is not true about me, or these people are saying things that are unnecessary. Yeah, let's go. I'm all here for it. Let's go. I have some time. I would love to give you some of my time. Let's go, babe. As you can see, I'm getting a little hot out here. I live in Texas, so summertime is brutal. So I'm getting all shiny. Okay. Right. Which I'm surprised you're on here because my channel, all my videos are usually set to not being intended for children, but that's cool that you found me. Illinois. Okay, that's great. So hopefully it's not as hot for you where it's as hot down here in Texas for me. Aw, that's wonderful. It's always great to have pets. Oh, is it? Okay. Maybe there's just like the heat wave and the humidity is hitting everyone. Oh, yeah. Smart move. Smart move. Aw, that's such a sweet name. Okay, so 2 brothers. That's awesome. Hopefully you think it's awesome too. But I understand if right now you don't. It just depends. Those are great names, sweetheart. Awesome. And I have about 4 minutes and then I do need to go. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I have to work on some outlines, work on some paperwork, work on some protocols for my clients, as well as planning out some things for my YouTube channel. I think that was a really great idea that I got from one of the other viewers about doing like a makeup and skincare thing. I have done product reviews in some of my previous videos. There's one for Eveline, and when you're a mom, your body has gone through so many changes, right? So when during pregnancy and all that kind of stuff. So there's this brand called Eveline or Eveline. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, and it makes a really great lotion that really tightens up skin and really helps, with all of that. So I have done product reviews in the past, but I've never done anything with makeup or makeup tutorials, which is ironic because I love makeup. I just was raised by somebody. My favorite food? Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. So probably, okay, my mom to this day, she'll still make me this thing called the La Scala salad. And it's basically a salad that has chickpeas, salami, romaine lettuce, olive oil, red wine vinegar, a few other things in there too. But that's probably my favorite. Like I could eat that every day, and I do whenever she makes it. Right now, it is it's almost 12 because I'm in Central Standard Time. What time is it for you, sweetheart? Okay, yeah. So we're in the we're in the same time zone. Because it'll be 12 for me in about that same amount of time. Hey, that's okay. And the great way you could think about it is whether you're on a mobile device or if you're on a computer or if you're on a tablet, it's always a really great thing to kind of work on your typing skills. And it's totally fine. Practice makes progress. Instead of practice makes perfect, practice makes progress. and progress is always what we can aim for. All right, I can stay on for just a couple more minutes and then I do have to go. But you really inspired me to start creating content for children. So I think I'll start doing that. And I think I'll definitely incorporate that into my channel. And yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'll shout you out in the very first one that I make. In fact, I'll make a new playlist and I'll have a whole new thing of content for children that will be tailored to kind of talking about like some of the things that you told me about, some of the experiences that you're dealing with, and primarily like with things like bullying and things that are, you know, more difficult to handle. Because as a wellness coach, that's what I do. I work with people that have situations that are difficult for them to handle, and I help them. Yeah, for sure. So you have definitely inspired me, Kate, or Cam. You've inspired me greatly. And I am so grateful that you got on today's live stream. That's really awesome. And I'm really glad that you took the time to listen to some of the gene keys. I'll definitely have to make a part 2 to finish up talking about gate 14 and gene key 14. But I feel like, you know, my higher power, which is God, really led me to have this conversation with you today. And there's a reason that we got to meet. And so I'm definitely going to go, in fact, right now and start looking at ideas and things for children's content. And I'll hopefully get started on that this week. And, you know, we'll just do short little things and go from there. I'll continue to make shorts. That's something that I really haven't been big on. And then I just make like really simple shorts, not anything that's major, just really little simple things. And they got, you know, a little bit of a bigger reaction. So I'll definitely keep on doing that. And I will make sure to create a new playlist so that way all the videos will be easy to find. And I'll make sure to also do live streams for the more youthful age as well. So it has been such a... Bye, sweetheart. You're so welcome. Thank you so much again. It was an honor getting to speak with you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And just don't forget, always try your best to respond, but don't react. Don't let anybody see you react. Don't let anybody see you get upset or look hurt, because then that's just giving them power, and they don't deserve your power. Thank you so much, and anyone and everyone who has been on this live stream, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join one of the membership tiers as it is popping off with content. And I will see you on my next video or live stream. Be well, stay wild. As